do 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 do. Boo ba doo boo 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 ba doo boo boo.
Okay, here we go. Schindler's List. Longest movie so far.
Yep.
Longest 3 hours?
It's a little over 3 hours, I think.
Mm-hmm. Movies are getting longer and longer, but this was made in like the 90s. Still like long.
It was made in 1993, so
So old. Not
over 15 years old, I guess. No,
Yeah.
over 20, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta ask though,
Yeah.
why isn't this cover in black and white?
You know, it's a good question. Hold it up for the viewers. I was going to ask you about that because the whole film is in black and white.
The beginning's not. The begins in color, and the really end is in color. But that's
too.
not like that's not part of the story. And then there's this one girl that has like a red
That's in a
cap.
red coat, but everything else is in black and white. And
Yeah.
it actually really made me think of like movies from the 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering what you thought about having the one girl with the red coat on like show up randomly in the things that were happening. Like, do you think that helped, or do you think it sort of
I don't know.
took you out of that, old-fashioned feeling?
I don't know. I think that it probably has a symbolic meaning. I just am not the right person to tell you what it means. It's just like this is like the most. This is the most like impressive thing that Steven Spielberg has ever done.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this must have been like a really big passion project for him because he does not do movies like this often.
Yeah, it is different from his other movies. Like, give me some titles of other movies that he's
E.T.
done. E.T. What else?
He did Hook.
Hook.
Yeah. First Encounters
of the Third
Kind. Yeah. He also he made another movie. I just can't remember what it was. Another famous one.
But this is really different from what he normally does. It's
Yeah.
very serious. Well, I think his background is he's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he felt a special connection to the content.
Yeah. I mean, at the end where Schindler, he breaks down from, like the what do you call it? The fact that he could have saved more people. That was the best part of the movie, in my opinion, because that was like, it shown like how much character growth had been.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there were some funny lines in the film, though. I mean, not very many, but or a couple good ones. Because I don't think that there can be a movie that's completely depressing. I think that was the biggest problem with Descendants.
It was just super. There was no like.
No, it wasn't The Descendants. It was something Johnny Depp was in. Remember that movie? The drama movie about like the advancement of technology. I remember because I watched it because Johnny Depp was in it.
I don't think I've seen it.
It was so bad. No, I got it from the library.
There was a little bit of lightheartedness in it, but there were a couple spots that were a little bit funny. But overall, I would say it's pretty sad.
Yeah,
I mean, I cried at the end. I was like,
Well, I mean, that wasn't sad though.
But it was more of a happy cry, I guess.
I mean, he did
save all those people.
Yeah, save like 1,000 people.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people.
And I thought that like the filmography was really good. I mean, what did you think of that overall? Like the way it was shot and the whole idea of doing it in black and white. Do you think that helped or hindered?
Well, I mean,
story?
it's more like it's just a kind of style that he wanted to do because I mean it makes sense because it's a film that was about Nazis, so it really makes it really kind of makes the film more, it feels like it's older because it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it feel kind of like an old one of those kind of like the Diary of Anne Frank, which is really bad in my opinion, but whatever.
The movie or the book?
The book. Oh, wait, they made a movie about the Diary of Anne Frank? Yeah. How would they make a movie about somebody's diary? Don't you think it's kind of, I don't know, expletive to the fact that they, exploitative
of her. Because it was
yeah.
like her journal. Yeah,
I mean, you know what? If they put it in like a museum and let people like read it from there, then I still think, you're still sharing the private details of a very somebody that did not approve of that at all.
Right.
But that would make more sense. But no, they're selling the diary.
Well, I thought that she kind of always assumed that, or hoped that it would be public.
Did they ever say that?
She wrote it so that it would, she revised parts of it and stuff because she thought it would maybe be public someday. I thought that. I'd have to read more about it, but getting back to Schindler's List.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about his story arc? Because, the last time I watched this was 20 years ago. And now I'm thinking, did you really see the things that made him change? Or, did it seem sort of well, why is he suddenly, caring about these people when he didn't before? Did you really believe it? Or were you sort of
Well, of course I believed it. This is one of the best movies of all time. Of course, people loved it. But, no, he does a really good job showing, there's this time where they see him, shoot Jews, and they shoot, a ton of Jews,
right.
And that's, a turning point for him, because he
sees it, he witnesses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
he starts to realize that they're, people, humans, that,
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be treated this way.
Yeah.
What do you think about his relationship with his accountant?
I don't know. I thought that was kind of... Oh, you meant the guy.
Yeah.
Not his actual wife. I thought that was kind of...
Yeah. The thing with his wife was a little... But I meant
kind of forced. Did
a
he
big
really
Ben
need
Kingsley
to...
character who was running...
Yeah, he was... It was extremely good on-screen chemistry. Chemistry. It was very...
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job together.
Yeah.
What about Goethe?
Goethe?
The bad guy who was always shooting people from his balcony.
Was that his name? Goethe?
Yeah, Goethe, I think.
Well,
I mean, say it. I'm not fluent in German.
I don't understand why there was that whole pardon thing. But...
Well, I think Schindler was trying to influence him for the good, but then he was
yeah.
Oh, I actually do want to kill these people.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he didn't just say no, because he seemed like a kind of smart guy, but I don't know. Maybe it was necessary. I'm not a historian.
I don't think it's necessary to kill somebody who can't clean your bathtub.
Yeah, well, talking about for the story.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the story though.
So overall, you think it's a good choice for number 11 on your list of the top, your number 10 on the top 12?
It's the third episode.
Do you think it's the best Steven Spielberg movie you've ever seen?
The list. There are other Steven Spielberg movies. Hey!
What? Let's just give it away.
You're not supposed to give away what's on the list.
Oh. I thought it was on the internet. So
yeah, it is. But unless somebody looks it up.
Yeah.
You just made it harder for me. Now I have to edit this because I got to take that out.
You don't have to take it out?
Yes, I do. Because I don't want anybody to know what's next on the list.
Okay.
On the list. But I don't know. Let me check.
I don't know either. You
Go get
can't
the
check.
computer.
How are you
What?
going to check?
I got the computer right here. I could just check.
Okay.
Why can't I?
If you want to, you can. Go for it.
Well, what about, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of pointless, really, to...
What's pointless?
Just killing all these people.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not the next thing.
Or do you announce the next thing?
Yeah, I do.
Today
I forgot to not announce after Star Wars. I forgot to announce that the next one was Schindler's List, but I can announce it earlier. The next one's 2001: The Space Odyssey.
I've never seen that. 1968.
Yeah,
Really?
so they predicted the 9/11 incident.
Wow. Isn't Stanley Kubrick the guy who was he has to live
He did The Shining.
He has to live in he's not the one who was molesting people and stuff. Somebody else.
Who maybe, I don't know. Let's look.
Stanley Kubrick.
Well, we're not talking about that yet. I'll just show you. We can talk about the Schindler's List
What do you
while I
think
look
about
it up.
So what else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we got like. What was your favorite part of this?
Oh, he's an American film director, screenwriter. Okay.
So what was your favorite part
No,
of
this
this?
is not who I was thinking of. Stanley Kubrick is a good guy.
No, it was Lars von Trier you're thinking of.
Okay.
The guy that made Breaking of the Waves. Because he was... Oh, I remember this. This actually kind of ties into what we're talking about. He made a comment.
Who did?
Lars von Trier.
Okay.
About what was it? Oh, it was like I can bring it up. It was pretty funny. But let's keep talking about the movie actually,
Okay.
because we gotta stay on topic.
Okay. Well, I feel like they did a good job of like showing the horrors of what was happening to Jewish people at the time. Although, I mean, we know that a lot of other people were. It wasn't just Jewish people who were killed and tortured and all that stuff. But for this story, I think it was really good.
Hate this keyboard.
You know, Gaff. He jokes about Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, I know I really
I
wanted
got
to
to
be
turn it up so
Jewish,
that they can hear it.
and then I found out that I was really a Nazi, you know, because my family was German, Hartmann, which also gave me some pleasure. So I'm kind of a...
Kristen Dunst is like, I don't know what to say. This is really awkward.
What can I say? I understand Hitler.
I understand Hitler.
Kristen
But,
Dunst is like,
I think he did some wrong things. Yes, absolutely. But I
He's
can
just
see
digging
him
himself
sitting
in more.
his bunker in the end.
she's like, what do I do?
But there will come a point at the end of this. There will come. I will. No, I'm just saying that I think I understand the man. He's not what you would call a good guy, but I understand much
What
about
movie
him,
was
and
he
I
there
sympathize
for?
with him a little.
It was at the Cannes Film Festival. I
I
don't
know, but I just wonder what movie it was.
It was probably... Was it necrophiliac or whatever? I don't know. It was... He did a lot of bad movies.
Well, that was really bad.
A little bit, yes.
No, it gets
but
worse.
Come on, I'm not for the Second World War, and I'm not against Jews. Susanna Bier. No, not even Susanna Bier. That was also a joke. I am, of course, very much for Jews. No, not too much, because Israel is a pain in the ass. But still...
bad,
how
so
can I
in.
get out of this sentence?
Another question.
I am.
Here's your salvation.
They're just. No, I just want to say about the art of the. I'm very much for Speer. Speer I liked. Albert Speer I liked. He was also maybe one of God's best children, but he had
Is he
some
drunk or
talent that was
something?
kind of
I don't know.
possible for him to use during.
What is he wearing in his ears?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm a Nazi. Here.
Okay, that was
He was
really bad.
banned from the Cannes Film Festival after this. This is insane. Why would he say that?
It's really bad.
Okay, I'm a
Anyways,
Nazi.
let's finish the review. So, anything else we should talk about? Would you recommend Schindler's List to people maybe your age and older? So I wouldn't recommend it for like.
I wouldn't recommend it for kids.
Right.
I wouldn't.
But I think it's good.
You know,
It's actually go ahead.
If you think you might enjoy it, if you're interested in World War II, I think you should watch it. I wouldn't say that I've always had the opinion that you can watch any movie if you like really want to. If you want to watch a movie, then
If it's something that you're interested in.
if it's something in your
Yeah.
even if you know you're like 7 and you want to watch The Exorcist just because you know you like scary things. If you watch it and you enjoy it, then there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, what are you protecting?
Like if it
people
doesn't
from?
scare you.
If it does scare you, then you just know
watch
you don't
it, yeah.
like horror. I mean, that
Right.
you'll get over it. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you can understand that it's going to be scary, then I
Mm-hmm.
think that you should be allowed to.
Don't
do
you
it.
think sometimes kids don't know?
Yeah. I understand that, but like it's obvious. But that's like when you're like 4, and it's obvious that when they don't understand things, you
Yes.
should. When you're like older, like me, then you should be allowed to watch any movies just in case you might like it. So I'd say that if you're interested in this kind of stuff, or a film buff or a history buff, then I recommend
Definitely
this.
one you should see if you're into films. 'Cause
Yeah, this is a very good movie.
Good.
If you big Steven Spielberg fan,
Yeah.
this is one of his best works. I tell you this.
Yeah.
What would you rate this out of 10?
Can I give it a 10?
Yeah, you can give it a 10.
I think it's done really well.
It's better than the last 2 movies I reviewed. It was Dad and Amin tried to rank higher
Higher
than
than 10.
Yeah,
I did hear that.
and I said you can't do higher than 10. That's not
Right.
possible. So you can put 10 though.
Okay. I think it's one of the best. I think the filming is amazing. The actors are amazing. The storytelling. And you also learn a lot about history, which I'm really into. And that's why I think it's just, I would give it a 10. But what would you give it?
I mean, it's hard to rank movies like on this like objectively because the thing about it is that there are so many, like, since we're making a review of the 12 best movies of all time, all of my answers are going to be 8 and above. So it's kind of like you don't really have that many choices because it's not going to be a below 5 because it's not 5 and below because it's not going to be just average or
But
below,
you could
right?
give it a 9 for a different reason than you would give another movie a 9.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
just trying to like be perspective here because I don't want to give it a ranking that I wouldn't give it otherwise.
Okay.
So I give it a 10 because of
Okay.
how good it is.
Okay.
It's hard to argue that this is one of the best movies of all time.
Okay.
But now you haven't seen any of the other movies, but
I've seen some of them.
well, I mean, for my thing, I ranked
Okay.
them myself.
Yes, yeah.
So I know that this is kind of weird because they keep just getting better, but there'll be some that are worse. But Schindler's List is just like above Star Wars. So it
Yeah.
goes Schindler's List and then Star Wars and then Back to the Future. So that's my list so far. That's my
So
ranking.
Schindler's List is the best so far.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting what you think about some of the other movies that are rated or ranked higher. Like if you really think that they are better than Schindler's List.
Yeah,
first, you know?
especially. And, it's kind of hard to judge. Like, Star Wars and Back to the Future are easy to compare, but it's hard to compare Schindler's List and Star Wars. Those are good movies for
completely
completely
different-
different reasons.
yeah,
So
that's true.
it's hard to decide which one's better.
Yeah.
But I know there are going to be Star Wars fans that think that Star
Well-
Wars is a bigger cultural phenomenon. It has a bigger impact.
But it still doesn't mean it's a better
It
film.
doesn't make it better.
Well,
Yeah.
the writing is, I think, inherently better in Schindler's List.
I mean, yeah, but the pacing is better in Star Wars. It's hard to decide, but I mean, Schindler's
It's much
List,
slower.
I just think
It's like so slower. It's sort of
well, I mean, it's 3 hours
paced-
long. Of course, it's slower.
It's paced like an old-fashioned movie.
Yeah,
Like if we were going to watch Casablanca, it would be like that.
if we were going to.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But I say that this is like, I recommend it. So
Me too.
I guess that's it.
All right.
I don't know what movie you want to do next. You don't say the movies because I already
I
have
won't
to
say it.
beep out these stupid words because you said them.
Oh, man.
I